Right, I'm just going for a run out on my wing this morning. I fitted this Skidmarx screen and we're going to see what it's like, so we'll have a little ride out and see how we get on. Right, nicely away. Just gonna have a little ride out to York to see my mate, so I thought it'd be a good time to just try, see what this Skidmarx screen's like. It's a little bit blustery today, but I'm sure we'll be alright. Right, I'll just give you the first impression of the Skidmarx screen. The standard screen for this bagger, Goldwing bagger, or B, whatever you want to call it, were actually about, I don't know, probably an inch short for me when it were full up. So anyway, I looked at what screens were about, and Skidmarx had numerous screens and they were pretty cheap, and I thought, yeah, I'll buy one and cut it down myself. Anyway, when I rung up to make an inquiry, they actually said, oh, we cut them down anyway. You know, if you buy a screen, they'll shorten it to whatever you want. Anyway, I looked at the specs for the standard screen and I thought, well, that's a bit higher, because when I test rid this bike, or test rid a bike similar to this, it had a standard screen on, and to be quite honest, when it were full down, I still couldn't just see over the top of it. And I wasn't, you know, particularly struck. So when I rung these up, they did an exact copy of the standard screen, which I believe is about 53 centimetres tall. So I thought, well, if I get 53 centimetres, reduce it by 60 or 70 mil, or 6 or 7 centimetres, whichever you like, it'd be alright for me. So that's what this is. So what it is, it's an height of a, I think it's 460, 470, somewhere around there. I mean, fitted perfectly alright. One of those were a little bit tight and I just dressed it out with a small file, so it was something to know. Anyway, I bobbed it on and it's basically just, well, it's a piece of piss really. Not much more than 10 minutes. And I mean, I'd be surprised if it took 10 minutes. If I hadn't had a file all that, it'd have been a lot less. Well, that's what it's like at full down position, which for me is fine. Full up position, I would have to be just looking through the top of it. I've got it about there, which is probably just a bit taller than standard screen. And of course, with this being a standard screen and it's short and it's got the corners in, whereas the original one, the corners is cut off, so it actually keeps a bit more wind off your upper body. So yeah, it seems alright to start with. I mean, you never know until you've used them for a, you know, a week or two. See how we get on with it. I mean, I've got my visor up now and I'm not getting no wind noise. I don't like that, but I'll put it down just for audio quality. It's a little bit blustery today. It doesn't look it on camera, but it certainly is. I'm certainly getting to like this bike. For definite now, I'm going to use this for Portugal. I'm not sure how many miles I've got on this at the moment. We'll have a quick look. 25 miles short of 2,000 mile on it. So, what it? 2 months. So, not too bad for this time of year. I don't know if it's because it's weight of this bike, but it's doesn't seem that bad when it's in wind. It's not as bad as you think it would be. I had another word with Honda yesterday over this fuel gauge. Apparently the mechanic from Hunt's had spoken to Honda, and Honda says, well, it's only a guide, you know, a rough guide to where you are. And I said to him, I said, well, to be quite honest, I'm not very happy with that, because, you know, I mean, it's not rough. I've worked it out, it's about 18-20% art. It's fuel gauge, the range, and the fuel consumption. It's just dropped onto the half mark of the tank, 95 miles in, and 109 miles on range left. Now, the other day I actually run it down to the light flashing. That come on at 180 mile. You know, the low fuel light come on at 180 mile. I did 22 miles to the garage, and I managed to fill it with 18 litres of petrol. So although the fuel light had been on, I'd done 20 mile on the reserve fuel. I could still only get 18 litres in. Now, I don't know. I just don't think that's good enough. I mean, really, I think there should be 40 mile roughly when you get to the emergency light coming on, 40 or 50 mile, which means there should be, I don't know, a gallon left in if you're lucky. I mean, I would imagine if you were shoving it on, you'd be lucky if you got 30-40 mile on reserve fuel light. Anyway, I don't think it's right. I mean, if you think it's right, let me know. Put it down in comments. Might be quite interesting to find out, you know, if everybody else is out the same up. I mean, I have 2 or 3 mates, and one lad's been in touch with me and what have you, and his is perfectly accurate. It's not like mine. Mine's nowhere near. I mean, on the average miles, which I'll show you, that's my average, 35.5 miles per gallon. Now I know that's a load of knackers, because I check it every time I fill it up and calculate it bit mileage, and it's doing somewhere in, depends how you ride it, but somewhere in 48 to I think 53 is best I've had out of it as yet. So, you know, that's miles out. And I mean, I reckon you should get about 250 mile on a tank full. It's just shy of 5 gallon, and if you were driving it reasonably, you know, you'd do 250 mile. Now, a few lads has told me once they got up to about 8,000 mile with it, they could get near a 60 mile to gallon out of it. In fact, 2 lads has told me that they've had 60 mile to gallon. Now, one lad's what a manual and other lads what a DCT, so you know, I'm not sure which is which, but other than that, happy as a pig in shit with it. Even Mrs. now likes it. Well, that's not right, my mate's not in. Not gonna get a free cup of tea now, am I? often seen this on this house, Alice Hawthorne. Now if anybody knows what it is, please let me know. Leave it in comments below. I've just no idea what that is. I think I once looked on the net and I couldn't find out for it. Somebody's supposed to know what it is. Bit of a strange one this. It's most I've ever had on this. I've got 118 mile and I'm down at half a tank, and it says there's 96 miles left, which gives you the combined total at the moment, you know, about all on 120 mile or just over 120 mile. Well, range tells you 220 mile. The range has never ever showed that. The most the range has ever showed is, I think it's about 180. I mean, the average is up a little bit because it's at 36.7. Well, I think best I've ever had on that's 37. Maybe it is going to get a lot better as it as engine loosens up. That'll be one of them things where we have to wait and see. I will make a mention about the lad he messaged me and said about the sat-nav that they will accept routes from Garmin base camp, and he's actually quite right. It does, and it loads them straight up, no problem whatsoever. I just use a USB flash drive, downloaded my routes onto that, plugged them into this and uploaded them straight in. Yeah, worked perfectly alright. Now I know originally with these, I'm pretty sure that you could only have 8 waypoints. Well, now you can have as well. I had a lot more than 8 in on route I put in, so you know, you can, they've obviously improved that. And originally you used to have to put them through base GPS babble to make them into the right format. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. And originally you couldn't have any spaces in the name. Well, now you can. So yeah, you were right. What the lad said were exactly right. Yes, I've messed about a bit more and I've got on a bit better with it. Do I think it's better than Garmin? It's maybe just because I'm older, I've got used to Garmin's, I seem to be able to whip with them quite well. So I don't want to do it down on sat-nav. It's probably me. Anybody who's old will know what I'm on about. You get fixed in your ways, you get used to something, and you're alright with that. Technology advances, and as you get older you tend to be more comfortable with the things you know, and I think that's probably the case. One thing I didn't like about it was I passed a waypoint, and it must have been for 20 miles after I passed the waypoint and it was still trying to send me back. I would have had to stop and delete the waypoints prior to, and to be quite honest I couldn't be bothered. And one thing they've added, I think it was new on the XT, is there's now a button on the dash, on the screen, what you can press, and it tells it to ignore the waypoint what you've just passed, which, to be quite honest, is very good, because the Garmin used to send you back for long enough before it would finally ignore it. So yeah, I think I'm getting on alright with that. I think if I go on holiday, I'll probably put the routes on both. One of my problems is, because I ride more than one bike, I've got my Senna S10 paired up with the Goldwing, and then if I pair it with my phone and pair it with my sat nav, I can't get the volume off. If I've got the volume off this, the audio, navigation audio, off the XT, I don't get it out of the Honda one. And to be quite honest, when I had mine and my wife's working through the Honda, I seem to have some terrible interference with it, and I'm not sure whether it was front bike or... You see, the S10s now are quite old. Maybe the newer ones, you know, the 20s, 30s, 50s, is maybe a lot better. But I know it's a strange thing to say, it's the same old thing with technology and moving on. The S10s do everything I want them to do. So I'm not really bothered about replacing them. As a pair of headsets for me and wife to talk through, they work absolutely perfectly. And they connect with the sat-nav perfectly well. The sat-nav I can take and use on my other bike, so I'm paired up with that all the time. And to mess about, I would have to start altering the pairing, so I think what I'm going to do is leave the Goldwing out of it, use the XT, pair my phone with it, and use it like that. Maybe I'm missing something or something like that. If anybody knows, you know, let me know. I'm more than happy to learn. You know, I mean, I'd like to try the old adage, you know, that you can learn old dog new tricks. Actually now finding I can find most knobs and buttons without having a look at them. You know, they're becoming intuitive. Which it's always nice when you get used to something, you know, you can fit everything where it is without having to look at it and learning where the knobs work. I know it's taken me long enough, but like I say, when you get older, it's not just as easy. The young ones seem to pick it up unbelievably easy. Like you say, if you've got a problem with your phone, all you want is a 10-year-old kid and they can tell you exactly what to do. I mean, I'm quite lucky I have a young mate called Sam. If I'm stuck with my phone, I know where to go, I can always go ask him. We're going to lend me his little 500 Kawasaki to do a bit of a review on. But anyway, he's not got that now. And I mean, he hasn't offered yet, but I'm sure he will do. He just bought his Senna BMW Z4. So I'm sure he'll say, hey up Pete, do you want to take me Z4 for a go? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not optimistic. Mind he's not a bad lad. If I asked him, he'd probably let me have a go. One of my other mates has said I can, a mate called Graham said I can take his, I can have a little go on his Triumph to do a vlog on. There's a pair of Bonneville's, like, well sorted and all, but you've never known anybody keep a lad you know, vehicle in such good condition. I'd feel terrible if I got a splash of muck on it. And he uses them, it's not like he doesn't use them, you know, I mean, he does take them out and he does use them. So one of my mates, donkey's years sin, come round this corner and met the combiner round the other corner. He was going this way, met the combiner coming round the corner. Well, of course he'd nowhere to go and he was motoring on a little bit. Anyway, basically he dumped it and bike ended up hung up front at combine. Luckily he got away pretty unlit like, but it just goes to show you never know what's right corners, do you?